We have like two types of clients. Type number one is like I have an owner with like my brother selling and my sister's brother selling, or my husband or her husband, and it's like this family affair, and they're out there closing deals, and it's they all trust the brand, they're going for it, but they don't have any sales system, no sales process, like no goals. The structure of the sales org is like very elementary, and they just need more help. We help take them from like there to structured, planned, systematized, infuse some tech in there, create a culture of selling, and then provide an opportunity for like new talent that they can therefore attract and bring into their business to attract some really cool people, some high performing people, some people that want to win and find a career there in your contracting business and sales, which I think is super cool. And then we have like this next level, this other type of client. They may have a bit of a sales team. They have people who aren't in the family that are in sales. They've been doing this for a while, but they don't have accountability, or they don't coach at all. It's very reactive, and they're at like a place where they're stuck, and they need some infused energy. They need some STG to come in and like spin things up, to create some excitement, to remove some distractions and some challenges, some maybe some self-limiting beliefs in the organization that's caused them to be stuck. And we can come in and identify what those are, and then start to transform them from maybe like order takers or lead babies to more proactive sellers that are doing things with a ton of professionalism, intention, authenticity. And we will coach them on a regular basis where we feel a bit of a part of their organization. So I think there's like one other company that does this. They've been around a long time. No need to name the name of the company, but I think there may be just one other that has like a very like higher ticket, more involved relationship, more in person on site than with as a coach with the client. We do that at STG. We have a very strong deployed coaching group that goes on site and works in the office, works in classroom training, goes and does ride-alongs, works with owners and leaders to shape a culture of predictable revenue.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's making me think about just our what I see in contracting is like there are two different groups right now is the way it looks right now. And now I don't like to tie it to revenue, but like that's a general idea of it's usually the startups to 5 million is where we're seeing our groups of people, at least at Proline, and then the $5 to $40 million companies. And there's
Yeah.
different levels as you get
Mhm.
there. But I would imagine there's different types of approaching those two different groups. At least I don't know about revenue if you look at revenue, but that makes sense from what I see because I actually do personally reach out to a lot of our customers after they've been through our sales process and onboarding and all that. I want to make sure that they're utilizing all the systems well, and
Mhm.
we're making sure that we're maximizing what we can do for them as a platform. And there's a lot of like, there's definitely sales part of it, but then understanding like you have to input data to get the right data out and the right reporting
Yes.
out. It's a huge
Yes.
thing. And having all kinds of competitions in your sales organization
Yeah.
is great, but you have to make sure you use the platform. So
Mhm.
from the first group of people that you talked about, what are a couple different 2 or 3 different challenges that you see consistently as you enter into that relationship? What are some like just initial things you see all the time? Because we have a lot of like very similar things that we see all the time with that group.
Yeah. I think the one thing is the owner is wearing a lot of hats, right? Like they need a neck brace. They have so many hats. And I think that sometimes they don't see the forest from the trees. You may run across some big visionary leaders, right? We see them. But most of them are like, dude, I'm just trying to like keep my head up. I'm chasing jobs and chasing money. And what we got to do is like get them to not exert energy into the business and like stop for a second and try to get them to zoom out and think about things a little bit differently, cast a little vision, think about where they want to be. So I think slowing down and creating a plan, we don't get into P&L and planning, and we don't touch that. There's like other groups that are way better than that about that than we are. We're more like, all right, let's create a sales plan. How do we go from this to this to this? And let's reverse engineer that, and let's put some structure into your CRM that has visibility against those goals. There's KPIs that we can see in the CRM. That's a key thing that we care about. We usually get access to all of our clients' CRMs so that we can see it and use the tools and help them provide that structure. The other two parts are they don't really have a really solid. Nobody loves their compensation plan. Some people have it dialed, some people don't. So we work on that. And then they don't have a sales process, but once they learn a sales process, like when you have one that you can say, yep, this is our sales process, you need to know it, you need to understand it, you need to be able to teach it, and you need to demonstrate it. And you not just know the sales process, but you know why we do the sales process. There's a reason, there's why it's in there and you believe it's important. Man, that kind of alignment in your sales team, it creates a lot of real authenticity and confidence out in the marketplace. People feel that they love the representation of your brand. They feel cared for, thought of. It's great. And man, that'll help you start to delegate selling. Because at the end of the day, what we're talking about in building a sales team is the owner who needs to sell is delegating selling. So an owner, if he doesn't sell his own job, but he does 50 million a year, do you think he says, I did 50 million a year? Yeah, he did. He said, I did 50 million a year because he's delegating selling. So what we're doing is just creating a way for the organization to attract and then produce salespeople. I think what's happening now in the world of residential roofing is that there's more and more and more of a desire to be a retail business. And I think what people are realizing is like I used to be able to sell $1,000 deductible, and now I need to sell $25,000, roofing system. A lot of people are selling out of their own wallets, and they have a lot of limited beliefs that are holding them back. Well, the good news is it's systematic. If you teach the system and how to sell, and it's a good system that is supporting the right salesmanship competencies required to sell a $25,000 roof system at a 40% clip or more, then you could teach that system. So we just kind of identify. I'm answering your question very long in a long way.
I love
but
it.
we like that. Those are some of the big desires, and how we do it is I could talk about that separately. But most companies are like, man, I got to zoom out where I want to be, create some structure, make it visible, use it, create some accountability and transparency, and then train so that I could like definitely delegate sales in a way that I know ultimately will be better than if the owner would do it himself or herself. Some people know they don't want to touch sales. Some people are like, oh, but nobody can sell like me, right? So both can keep you stuck if you don't do something about it. So yeah, those are some of the basic things in the beginning, and teaching that sales process is important because now you have a weapon to wield. Like if you don't have the tool, you don't have the weapon, you can't go to battle. You don't. You're like you don't. You're just at the mercy of your surroundings. And but if you have a system you believe in, and you're confident and you have conviction in the system, man, it'll help you stay in control of every sale and then create revenue that's predictable. And then you can train other people and then they have predictability in their pipeline and it changes the game, so.